All right, so for today's assignment, we're going to write slope-intercept form, or SIF, equations from tables and graphs. So I'm going to do some of the slides with you, but the remainder you will have to try on your own. And I can check and see everything. So like if I go this is the teacher side, you guys can't see this, but I can see exactly how much you have done or have not done. So keep that in mind. Your points will be based on your completion and putting in effort. All right, so let's go through. So first things, quick recap before we get about graphs. How do we read graphs? Well, we read graphs from left to right, just like a book. How do we find slope from a graph? Well, we count our movements from one point to the next, okay? How do we find a y-intercept of a graph? Well, to find the y-intercept, we look at the point where our line passes the y-axis. Okay, that's it. Make sure you hit submit when you are done. Okay, and you'll be able to see everybody else's responses too. Okay, so let's look at this graph, right? What is the y-intercept here? Well, what's cool about Desmos is I can actually draw on this thing, and my favorite color is green. So my y-intercept is where we pass through the y-axis. Well, that's right here. And that number is 2. So my answer is 2. What's the movement on the graph to get from one point to the next? Well, again, remember, we read in this direction. So if I go from this point to this point, we'll make that a different color. We'll make that purple. How do we get from the green dot to the purple dot? Well, we can draw all over this, which is super duper, but we see we go up 2, right? And then we go right 3. So I'm going to write that. I'm going to go up 2, right 3. Okay. How do we write the slope of something that goes up 2, right 3? Well, remember your movements. The top of your fraction bar is if you go up or down. The bottom of the fraction bar is your right and left. So my slope is going to be 2 over 3. Both of these are positive. Up movements are positive, right? We're getting bigger 4 to 4. Going to the right, we go from 0 to 3. That's also positive. So here we go. Share with the class. See if you got the same thing. Now, we're going to write the slope-intercept form equation, the SIFT equation. Well, we have y equals, and you know what? My brain just doesn't remember what we wrote out. So I'm going to go back to slide 3. It says my slope is 2 over 3 and my y-intercept is 2. So when I write that as the equation, I have 2 over 3, and since that's my slope, it gets my x because I keep doing that. And then plus 2, because it was a positive 2. We got to show that it's positive. And then that's it. We're done. We can hit submit. We don't have to explain our thinking. That's okay. That is an in-class thing. All right, I'll do this next one with you. So what is the y-intercept? My y-intercept this time is right here, starting at -1. So I'm going to write -1. What's the movement on my graph? So again, remember, we go from left to right. So I'm going to go from this point that's going to be purple to this point that is green. So how do I get there? Well, let me show with my little handy dandy tool. I go to the right 2 and I go down 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I go down 3 and I went right 2. Now down is a negative thing, and down is top for the top of our fraction. So I'm going to write -3 to represent down 3. Over right 2 is positive, so I just need to put the number 2. And that is our slope. So again, remember our y-intercept is -1. Our slope is -3/2. Go to next. Now we're going to write the equation. And we said that our slope was -3/2. and that gets our x because that's what we keep doing. That's what we keep moving. And then our y-intercept was a -1, so we show -1. Okay. You are going to do slide 7. I'm sorry. Now you're going to just write the equation. So you're going to do slide 8, 9, and 10 all by yourself. 11 is about tables. So a quick recap on tables. How do we read tables? Well, we read them by going down, right? We go down our tables to read them. We don't go up. We don't go side to side. We go down to get an accurate reading. How do we find the slope from our tables? We first figure out the math for our y's, like what math we doing, which is only adding and subtracting. And then we find the math for our x's, which is, again, only adding or subtracting. And we write them as a fraction as well, like this fraction, math of y's on top, math of x's on the bottom. How do we find the y-intercept on the table? Well, we look for the y number that is partnered with x at 0. So when x is 0, we find the y number. Okay. So problem 6. What is the y-intercept? Well, here's 0 for x. Its number partner is 2. So my y-intercept is 2. What math is happening down each side of the table? Well, for our y's, we are adding by 2, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, adding by 2. For our x's, we are adding by 3, 0, 3, 6, 9. So we're adding by 3. Only adding or subtracting, no multiplying or dividing, y'all. So how do we write the slope? Well, our y's are on top, our x's on the bottom, so we have 2 over 3, and they were positive, so I don't need to show that plus sign. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. So what's the slope-intercept form of this equation? Well, again, our slope is 2 over 3, and since that is the common difference or the math we are doing down our table, we attach the x next to it. And then our y-intercept was a positive 2, but we can't just write 2. We have to write plus 2. Okay? Looking at the next one. We have 0, 2, 4, 6, 7, 4, 1, -2. So what's the y-intercept? What is the number partnered with x at time 0? Well, in that case, it's this 7 here. So I'm going to type in 7. What's the math we're doing down our table? Well, for our y's, let's see, to get from 7 to 4, 4 to 1, 1 to -2, we are subtracting 3. For our x's, we go from 0 to 2 to 4 to 6, so we are adding by 2. So how do we write this slope? Well, we got to include that negative, okay? Y is up top, x is on the bottom. So we got that -3 over that +2, which gives us a -3/2. When we write the slope-intercept form, we have y equals -3 over 2. And because this is our common difference, this is where we put our x. And then we we started at 7, so we have to write plus 7. Okay? If you need to rewatch these last two to do these on your own, absolutely, because now it's your turn. You're going to do these last 3 on your own, okay? If you have any questions during our makeup day when you're doing this, or if you're at home, just send me an email. But if anything, have a good day, and I'll talk to you next time.